you're not paying attention to what's going on with Bitcoin right now, you should be. Earlier this year, we had the launching of the Bitcoin ETFs. Well, I'm sure you've heard the old adage to follow the smart money. And well, if you look at what BlackRock has done, they are currently holding over $20 billion worth of Bitcoin since launching their ETF earlier this year. And when you add Fidelity into the mix, they're currently sitting at over $31.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. Turns out that one of the big buyers of the ETFs is Goldman Sachs at over $419 million. Also, within the last week, financial advisors for Morgan Stanley, over 15,000 of them, began pitching Bitcoin ETFs to eligible clients. Another thing to pay attention to is the amount of Bitcoin supply on exchanges, which just hit an all-time low. Because as people withdraw from Bitcoin exchanges into self-custody and cold storage, historically that has been a very bullish sign for the price of Bitcoin. Now, when you look at Bitcoin hash rate, which is the amount of computing power in the network, in the past, when we've seen that computing power climb, that's been a very bullish signal. And we just hit an all-time high on the hash rate of Bitcoin. And then you look at the prior market cycles and the Bitcoin halving that happens every 4 years. Back in 2016, post-halving, we had a 40% correction followed by a parabolic move up. Then again, in 2020, we had a 30% correction post-halving followed by a parabolic move up. And again, right now, we have had a 30% correction post-halving, and this is where we are currently. So things are certainly aligning. And one other thing to note that I don't think a lot of people understand, we're currently sitting at just over $60,000 per Bitcoin, but there's only 21 million Bitcoin that will ever exist, and 94% of that is already in circulation. The amount of buying that we're seeing is heavily outweighing the amount of new supply that's coming online, and that is going to lead to a major supply crunch. Now, the only reason we haven't seen a massive move up already is we had 3 one-time events that had some pretty big sell-offs recently. Number one was Germany. They had confiscated about $2 billion worth of Bitcoin earlier this year, but that is all sold now. We also had Mt. Gox, which was an exchange that had about $8 billion worth of Bitcoin tied up in legal battles over the last 10 years. About 75% of that has been distributed now. And then we had a couple weeks ago that Japan carry trade that unwound and caused that market crash. But I'm looking at those events as kind of a gift in a way, because I've been able to add to my positions at these current price points. I'm hoping we have some more consolidation through the end of August. Maybe we'll see it drop back down into the mid 50s again. I don't know if we'll be so lucky, but with the Fed expected to lower rates in September, I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see the next move up. And I think it's going to be a massive move.